Hi, my name is Glenn McMillan. I'm making this video just off the cuff. I am based in Whangarei, northern New Zealand. I'm in my mid-60s, so I'm semi-retired. Now look, I had an accident when I was 10 years old and I fell off my bike. Ended up in hospital for a number of years. I was a pretty sick boy. Okay, so I've been disabled now for 54 years. In those 54 years I've experienced a lot, but my message is about positivity. It's about allowing disabled people to achieve the best they can achieve. I'm the author of many books. I'm writing about disability-related issues. I'm writing training manuals for professionals that to learn, it's like, I'll give you an example. The example I'm going to give is when I had my accident when I was 10 years old. When I got out of hospital, I was 14 years old. I had lost 4 years schooling now. Didn't go to school, I was breathing reliant on tubes. But what I did do from the age of 10 to 14 is I read adult books, I read doctors' books, encyclopedia science books. I learned electronics, I learned how to fix my own respirator with supervision, of course. So look, I was surrounded by adults, I was in the hospital ward, I was surrounded by other sick people. But I read and I read and I read and I read and I read. Great reader, not a good speller because I'm dyslexic. Dyslexic is a learning disability and I've written a book. My book is about the top 10 learning disabilities. And I'll come back to that, right? But the other book I've written is Inclusive Beginnings. And look, I did a year as a Northern Leadership intern for a large disability organisation here in New Zealand. I was so disappointed. I wanted to help my people. I want to improve life for other disabled people. It's what makes me tick, but it's like I worked in this organisation where I had all these great ideas, not interested, because unfortunately what you have is you have maybe a dozen organisations and one funding pot of money. So in that one funding pot of money, these 12 organisations are competing for the funding. Because it's a competition for the funding, there's little cooperation between them. And look, one of the things that interested me was something that I've succeeded exceedingly with is transitioning from hospital to school. Okay, so the subject of my book and the subject of this video, many others, is within the organisation that I was in, they had a project transitioning young disabled people from school into work to other organisations within the cluster of organisations also worked on the same project. So there's 3 organisations, 1 project, 1 lot of funding, right? And I have so many good ideas about how this should work, and I want disabled people to do well. And look, I know they can do well, and it's really frustrating to hear people saying, oh no, they can't achieve. They can achieve, but they need understanding. They need to be able to get the assets they need to succeed. Okay, we've got the new national government, they're cutting, they're getting down on disabled people. They want more people to attend school, right? I've got an idea for them. They can read my book on the top 10 learning disabilities. Because when I was within the organisational structure, what tended to happen is the learning disabilities were all lumped into one basket. You have a learning disability, right? So we don't think you can learn, so we're going to throw you in this basket with the rest of them. But this is the point. In my book, there are 10 different learning disabilities, right? If we can understand, if we can diagnose a particular learning disability that applies to the particular school child or a young child, not even in school, right? So if we can take their disability and adjust their learning to suit their disability, they can achieve. I write a lot, I read, I can't spell. I'm dyslexic, right? It means I get like thought, thorough, and through. Words like that mixed up. Words with too many vowels I get mixed up. It's my spelling, and certainly not my reading, because my reading is above average. I can read perfectly well, can't spell. My mathematics is excellent. Science, biology, all these things. I've got so many abilities. I'm an internet designer. I'm an author. I'm a photographer. I'm an SEO expert. I'm all these things. How did I get to be all these things? Because when people turned around and they said to me, you can't do it, you can't succeed, I asked them, well, why not? And they said to me, you've got to go in a class with the disabled children because you're disabled. You might be 14 or 15, but we have a class that caters for 5 to 15-year-olds. I don't want to be in your class. I want to be over at the school with people my own age, doing my own thing. In a lot of cases, look, I was 4 years schooling. I left school at 16. I did an apprenticeship. I became an industrial wireman. After that, I became an appliance serviceman. After that, I became an electronic serviceman. I've owned my own businesses most of my life. I'm motivated. I'm an electronic technician. I fix things. Okay, over fixing things, the eyesight's not so good anymore. So I design websites, I use artificial intelligence, I write books, I take photographs, I help people. One of my main things in life is I help people. It's like if you're able to provide and help and make people's lives better, that's what I do. Why shouldn't I do that? And like I've got this voice disability. I'm making this video. I feel really comfortable making this video. But if I go to an after 5 function, for example, 50 people in a single room all talking at the same time, nobody can hear me. It ain't going to happen, mate. So that means I do not have the ability to communicate in a noisy environment. Take me out of that environment, get somebody with me, and that's what I plan to do. Have an assistant with me. My assistant will say to any interested party, well, Glenn's got a voice disability. He can communicate perfectly well. Let's step into this quiet room away from the noise and let's talk. Hey, it works perfectly. I can debate on any subject. I was in the school debating team. I did it really well. Okay, so, but if you turn the picture around a little bit and you put me in that room with 50 other people, I'm in a wheelchair, I use a wheelchair. So I'm in the room, I'm in a wheelchair, I've got a voice disability, it's so loud nobody can hear me. Because nobody can hear me, nobody can communicate to me. So what happens then is I become one of them. People point and they say, he's learning disabled. He's non-verbal, he can't communicate. Wrong, can communicate. It's society and the environment that is disabling me. Can communicate perfectly well, like when I attend these events, I ask the organisers, can you provide a quiet room? Is there a room where I can go with somebody, close the door and have a person-on-person conversation? I run a charity called Children with Disability New Zealand. I'm trying to fundraise. We're not doing terribly good in the fundraising, right? There's just this misconception that disabled people should be sort of segregated from a lot of society. No. My charity, we've part-funded a wheelchair swing for white people in Northland. Love it. There's kids, adults, there's able-bodied kids all playing on this swing integration, so they're playing together. Very important now this year, 2023. Our charity, my charity, Children with Disability New Zealand, again raise funds to part-fund a wheelchair seesaw for Woomanga Park and Whangarei for the new park development. It's going to be marvellous. We just are lacking these things, and it's not just my city, Whangarei, it's all of New Zealand. There are some really good accessible playgrounds coming up, but they're the exception rather than the rule. So we want to try and make them the rule rather than the exception. Children with disability, we want to have a bigger reach. This is New Zealand. It applies in Australia, it applies in the UK, it applies in Japan, it applies everywhere. The better you treat and the more you integrate disabled when they are young, the better they will do throughout their lifetime. There's a big problem, like the government, like the New Zealand government at the moment, they're thinking disabled people are a burden on us, Let's punish them, let's cut them off, let's marginalise them. Let's try a different way, don't we? Read my book about the 10 top learning disabilities, and then we can keep more kids in school. We can train them appropriately for their abilities rather than look at their disabilities. The reason a lot of them aren't in school, they can't read, mate. Simple. They can't read, but they read, and they can't read is because they've got one of these 10 disabilities, and you're not actually giving the appropriate teaching to them as appropriate to their disability. So I repeat, if somebody's dyslexic, they may not be able to spell, but they could be a brilliant mathematician. Dyslexics make brilliant engineers. They've got spatial thinking. They can tell angles, weights. They have great visualization, but they can't spell. You don't need a spell to be an engineer. Well, you do, but nowadays, we've got Grammarly. I use Grammarly, so I can't spell. Grammarly's a marvellous help. But look, getting on with this video, what we really want to do is, I've got a website. My website is disabilityleadership.co.nz. New Zealand based, but I actually want to reach out to the whole world. So we're going YouTube, we're going Instagram, we're going TikTok. And the message is a message of positivity, a message of accomplishments. Saying, hey, that disabled person can do lots of things. They have a lot of abilities. They may have some disabilities. They may have a lot of abilities as well. I'll give you an example like that. Office girl can type 200 words a minute. She plays rugby. She's very sporty. She gets tackled hard. She ends up with a spinal injury. Suddenly she's in a wheelchair. She can't walk up the stairs. But she can still type 200 words a minute. In fact, because he's now so dedicated to his sitting job, his speed's increased. It's now 220 words a minute. Now, what's he make a good employee? Absolutely, he'll make a brilliant employee. Ground floor or a building with upstairs obviously become an issue. An accessible toilet is not that expensive. It's not that hard to put together. What do you have? You have a loyal employee that will stay with your company for many, many years, and they will very likely outperform the able-bodied peers. Look, I'm going to wrap this video up. I'd spent 15 minutes. I just thought I'd see how I go, but there's going to be many more videos, right? And it's all about positivity. It's about winning. It's about catering. It's about doing better. Got to do better in this life. Me, I've done great. And my own businesses, I've owned boats, I've raced motor cars, I've raced go-karts, I've done all those things that I was told I couldn't do. I was told I couldn't walk when I was 10. You'll never walk again. I walked. I was told you'll never talk again either. What am I doing now? I'm talking. So, don't believe everything, and if you get people being negative, just let it glide, let it go over your head. Be nice to people. Don't battle the world doesn't. It's not worth battling. Oily, squeaky will. Just be nice. Go forward and accomplish. And if you're one of these mums, dads, caregivers looking after disabled people, my heart goes out to you, because I look at myself. I've had major disabilities since I was 10 years old. I've done really, really well in life. I look at other people and I think I'm so much better off than them. I think, well, why complain when others are worse off? It's not only the disabled person, it's that lady that has to care for her 3-year-old son. Then 13, 23, 33, 43, she's still having to care for him. You people are heroes in my eyes, you carers. To the government, stop picking on the weak and the vulnerable. Instead of picking on them, help them become strong. Help them contribute to society. Help them get jobs, and then they can earn less benefit payments, a better future. Okay, 18 minutes. It's been quite a good test of a video. Thank you. Bye.